So am I, still waiting for this world to stop hating. Can't find a good reason, can't find hope to believe in. Drop dead, a bullet to my head. Your word is like a gun in hand. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with an OMI Veve update video with Cody Thrive or Cody Dunlap. You are a TikTok influencer, and you have just recently got into Veve. But what was your introduction to TikTok? How'd you get into there?
Oh man, probably actually what it was Gary Vee, just like Recur. Gary Vee hasn't talked about Recur, but he's talked about NFTs. So Gary Vee was talking about TikTok for like a year, and I'm not like the biggest Gary Vee follower, but I try to pay attention to what he's preaching because he's just been right so many times. So I didn't really take it seriously, and then I was a recruiter in the National Guard, so I was doing like military recruiting.
Mhm.
So a couple of the guys that I made friends with that were high school seniors on Instagram, they were telling me, they were like, "Yo, dude, you got to get on TikTok," because I was making YouTube videos,
Yeah.
flipping shoes. So retail arbitrage, like you go to the outlets and sell it on eBay. So I saw they were making TikToks. I got on TikTok, and then I made a TikTok just showing people how to turn $200 into 400 by going and buying basketball shoes at the Nike outlet.
Yeah.
And that video got 3 million views, and it was my first post. And I was like, dang, bro, I've been making these. It would be like, so I had a similar following to you. I had like 5,000 subscribers, but my engagement was really bad. It was not close to what yours is. It was like only a couple hundred views a video, just reselling, maybe
Yeah.
1,000. And yeah, dude, my first post, so I was like, holy cow. It would be like if you made a Veve video on TikTok and you got 1 million views, and you're like, bro, what's going on? I'm getting like a
Wow.
couple thousand. So it was like that with shoe resell. And then I kept doing TikTok, but I was kind of just having fun with it. Um, and then I went out and I sold door. I went back to just part-time National Guard 1 week in a month, and I started selling door to door in the summer, and I made pretty good money in the summer, like $55,000 over 4 months selling home security with a
Okay.
team. And then after that summer, my goal was the following summer, which would have been summer 2021, to run an office, like have a full sales team with like 20 dudes and me leading it. So I went to recruit through TikTok because all my followers were into making money because it was
Yeah.
entrepreneurial stuff. And I bought a TikTok course for $300,
Mhm.
and then I ramped up my following from 150,000 followers all the way up to now I have like 970,000. It's called Business for Teens is the page, my biggest
Yeah.
page. But yeah, I started doing that, and then I tore my Achilles, so I couldn't walk.
Oh no.
So yeah, so I just made a video telling this whole story, but it's kind of a crazy story. But yeah, I couldn't walk this spring. So going into the summer, door-to-door sales, we just throw down in the summer and then you're off the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So I built this team that I recruited from my Business for Teens TikTok. I tear my Achilles and it's commission only. So like I can't make money if I'm not able to walk door to door. So then I make a TikTok around sports betting, and I really have a couple streams of income with that following. It's only 100,000 followers, but I sell predictions, so people pay for my knowledge. And then there are 2 apps that I promote affiliate marketing. So I was able to do that full time, and now that's all I do is that sports betting TikTok.
Yeah.
Um, and then what had happened was I was like, dude, I'm making good money off this sports betting TikTok. And I have about 100,000 followers. Like, what can I do with this Business for Teens entrepreneur TikTok? It has almost 1 million followers. And I see all these guys in crypto and NFTs on TikTok. So I'm like, dude, I got to learn about this. Like, just like Gary Vee was talking about TikTok, I didn't do anything until like a year after he started. I'm like, Gary Vee's been talking about NFTs. Like, personally, I didn't understand them. I was like, dude, this is kind of dumb. Like, this doesn't make sense. And I was just uneducated. So I dove deep into NFTs. It feels like it was about a month ago, but it may have been about 2 weeks ago. I don't know how long ago it was. It wasn't that long ago. And I found Veve, and I found your channel. Actually, you were the first Veve video I watched. And I watched all the Veve videos. I've watched so much Veve videos now. And I like Veve for a lot of the reasons. You like it and everyone else likes it because with these NFTs, dude, the rug, like they can just disappear tomorrow and someone makes $6 million and you don't know who they are. They're anonymous. We have Disney, we have Marvel, we have all these brands. We're not going to get screwed over. So that's why I feel so comfortable with Veve. But yeah, dude, I really love your channel. So it's awesome to get to meet you and talk to you on here. Because when I first saw your page, as you can imagine, you're sitting right there where you sit with your refrigerator behind you. And I was like, all right, this guy's crazy. Like, is this guy? I'm like, is this guy at his mom's house right now? Like, what is going on here? Like, there's like this guy's talking about $1,000 NFTs. I'm like, wait a second. He does not look like he's in like a mansion or anything, and he's spending thousands of dollars on these NFTs. I'm like, is this real? And then of course I've gotten to know you through your other videos. I realize, you are most of your net worth is invested, which is so cool. And it's just a really awesome setup you have there. It's really inspirational, to me even too, because I look at all these nice things. And it's like, dude, just hold off on the nice stuff. Just invest everything you have. And if you want nice stuff, just get it later. Yeah, so I'm freaking pumped, man. And I'm just obsessed with Veve, just like you are and everyone else here is.
Yeah. I mentioned you the past couple of podcasts or the past couple of live streams that I did. I mentioned, and most of the feedback that everyone said was very positive. They like you. You're just a newcomer. You already had a bunch of subscribers. I think you had like 5,000 or 6,000. Now you have like 8,000 at least on YouTube. But just to give you a chance to respond to one of the things that was said, obviously when you weren't there, and I didn't really condone it. But you did say affiliate marketing when you were on talking about TikTok.
Yeah.
How is the affiliate marketing that you're doing? How or why is it mistaken for an MLM or a pyramid scheme? Or was there something that you did before then that you thought, hey, actually what I'm doing is like a pyramid scheme, but I found something much better that is not, because this is the gold standard and what I was doing was different. Can you tell us about that?
Dude, freaking Veve monster, dude. That guy's on my case all the time, bro. It's pretty funny, this comment. Dude, this guy, I like his comments because they're funny. But it's like, I can't believe this comment that he posted in here, bro, because he said how I came up with the name Thrive, because Thrive is a multi-level marketing company. I did not know that, but that makes sense. Thrive is a pretty popular word. So, dude, it's a good story how I came up with Thrive. And I almost switched back to my regular name, Cody Dunlap, but I just kept it because I had already made so much content using it. But when I was coming out of high school, so I'm 28 now, but like 10 years ago when I was coming out of high school into college, I wanted to play college sports, but I didn't get the chance. So I really am an athlete and I wanted to play college sports. So I didn't get to play college sports. So I'm going to college. I'm missing that competitiveness and like being with a team and stuff. And competing. So what I did was I realized, okay, I'm not going to get to play pro sports or even college sports. So I watched a lot of reality TV shows like Big Brother, Survivor, all that. And I was like, I want to win one of these shows. I see people that aren't that intelligent winning these shows, and they win like $1 million on TV, and they seem pretty airheaded, some of these people. So I started focusing my energy on how do I get on a reality TV show where I can win a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. And I got on this survival show on MTV when I was 22. It was airing. It was in Fiji. So it was 40 days in the jungle on an island. And the first night, I also had done airborne infantry in the Army before that, just National Guard, so not full time. So I had slept in the woods in the rain before in the Army. So for me, the survival show was super easy, and I was just having fun. And like the whole time I was there, like all these cameramen around me, I'm like, dude, I'm going to be on MTV. Like, I can't believe I pulled this off. Like I was in the school library at UTSA in San Antonio, listening to podcasts, how to get on reality TV. I'm like, I can't believe I pulled this off. I'm here and I'm in Fiji. I'm 22 years old, and it's raining a lot, and it's raining in the middle of the night, and everyone there, bro, there's 9 other people that were 18 to 25. They were like miserable. And I was looking around and I was like, dude, these people, they hate their life. And I'm over here smiling. I'm like pumped. I'm like, bro, I'm thriving right now. And I just kept saying that I was thriving. So then I made my username Cody Thrive when the show aired. And that's how I got it. So there were no pyramid schemes. It was just a reality TV show. I was in the woods and everyone was miserable and I was thriving. So that's how I made the name.
Yeah, no, I understand that, words like, let's get ready to rumble, or like you're fired. People always want to use those words. So there's like the most, I think, 4 common passwords that people use are like love, money, sex, and God, like, or password. So I understand, like, oh, hey, the name that you chose happens to be the name of a Thrive thing. I don't know if Veve Monster can show what he's saying about the Thrive, but does the Thrive thing have anything to do with the affiliate marketing you were doing on TikTok? Or
no. So the way affiliate marketing works is Veve doesn't need affiliate marketing because Veve is growing so crazy, right? But like a normal app that's a startup, usually what they'd have is they have a really good idea. They have maybe it's a video game or something, and they have a way to make money, but it's like the one part of the equation is they don't have users.
Mm-hmm.
So what they would do is they would go to an influencer with a following in their niche and say, hey, every person you get to come to our app, we can pay you $10. And
Nice.
then so like crypto.com or Coinbase, right? If
Webull does that too. And
yeah, if you refer a friend, you both get $10 or $25 in crypto, whatever. So for me, there's 2 apps I work with. They're just fantasy football apps. So every time I get someone to sign up, I get paid $80.
Nice.
And then I get a couple hundred people to sign up each month. So it's actually a lot of money.
Oh, that's legit.
It's crazy. And it's I do it through TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, but it's 90% through TikTok. So it's life-changing money for me. So I'm able to quit my 9 to 5. And right now I'm investing all of that money into Veve.
It's like $1,600 a month, just if you have 200 people signing up on that. $80 per person. That's a lot. That's good.
No, this is I don't know how many I think that's how many signups I'm getting. I need to bust out my calculator. I had a month where I made 80 grand in October. And then yeah, so it's freaking crazy. I'm super transparent with all my numbers. I always
same.
I always tell people I know some people are kind of secretive about it and stuff. The way I view money though is kind of like a game. So I'm very entrepreneur minded. So it's not like with my followers and stuff, I assume they're also entrepreneurs, and that's kind of who I target myself to. So it's like, yeah, dude, I had an $80,000 month and I make between 30 and 50 most of these months. But like, bro, there's people making $3 million a month out there. So to me personally, I don't really I'm very grateful because back when I was in college, on that show, like, dude, I was like dead broke 5 years ago. So I got the full come up to this point. So I'm super grateful for where I'm at. But dude, I want to figure out a way to make $1 million a month. And that's why Veve is so exciting.
Yeah. I think a good way to do that would be to rent out a space on my refrigerator. It only takes about 1 Tropicana per month or 2 common alligator Lokis. But you said you had a lot of success when you were doing door-to-door sales for security. Did that happen to be because you were a veteran? Be like, hey, as a former Army, blah blah blah, I suggest this because X, Y, and Z. Me and Dan Lee are veterans also. Dan Lee is your Army brother. Nice. I'm your Air Force guy.
That's funny, dude. I knew you were in the Air Force. I went back to see where your channel started. So I watched a couple of your videos. Not start to finish, but I checked out, and dude, you've been uploading videos for years now, and a lot of them no one was watching, and it's awesome that you didn't give up. That's cool. I didn't know that about Dan.
He's Army. He's former Army.
It did help because I was selling in Georgia. There's a place, Hinesville, I think it was, where it was like a great place. There's a lot of Army guys, and I didn't mention it, but once I was at the table sitting down with them for small talk, it was a great way to build rapport. it's amazing how when you're selling door to door, like someone's a stranger, you build that rapport. You just say, oh yeah, I did this in the Army, they're doing this. Then they trust you so much more. And it's like, that's no reason to trust a stranger that came to your door. But it's amazing how that makes a difference. Like I could imagine if I was selling door to door right now and like NFTs came up and they saw that I had an NFT YouTube channel, they would trust me more than if we didn't have that. It's amazing how whenever you're selling something, building a rapport, like just completely makes someone comfortable, which, so it did.
Yeah.
I didn't open with that line, but I talked about it and it helped for sure once I
They try to
got in the
sprinkle
house.
it in there.
Yeah. And dude, when you're talking to strangers, bro, like you need things to talk about so there's no awkward silence. So like most people that are in the Army or military, like they like to talk about their experiences. So like you just ask them what they do in the Army. Like I saw the license plate, and then so it was a great conversation piece for sure.
Yeah, I always maybe like a couple months ago, I was at a bar with a girlfriend. A lot of her coworkers. It was like her last day at one of her jobs, and a bunch of her friends came out that used to work with her, and I didn't really know any of them, but I noticed one guy was wearing like basically a hat like this, like, oh hey, where'd you serve? It's like, and he was armed, so we just went over like just old deployment stories and stuff, and it's a lot.
Well, speaking of the military, dude, what about Captain America Secret Rare, bro?
What's he at now? Like $3,000, give or take?
Dude, it's higher than that, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, get the fudge out of here. I'll go
up.
to it right now. I pretty much always have the app open, and I actually want to see if they have statistics on like, hey, you've spent the most amount of time on the app this month, because it's 2,900 now.
Okay. Thank God.
Yeah, I know it was up there beforehand.
It's cooling off a little. That's good to see. That's what I was hoping. That's what I've been hoping for all day. Dude, so all I really own right now is Secret Rare Spider-Man and a couple of the Mickey commons and Deadpool uncommons. So really my portfolio is the Secret Rare Spider-Man. That's it for now. I'm gonna put a lot more money into the app as soon as possible. But like a couple of people were commenting like, dude, you're just trying to pump these up. And I'm like, bro, I want them to go down. And with Secret Rare Spider-Man, I will never sell that thing. So like, I'm never actually going to make any money off of selling it because I don't plan on selling it ever. So like, I would like to buy a second Secret Rare Spider-Man so that I have one to sell and one to hold forever.
Yeah.
So I just don't know, man. I mean, I do still think it's a good investment at like 31,000 because I do think it's going to get over $100,000 in 2022. But I don't have 32 grand sitting around right now, unfortunately. So I will soon, but the market's moving so fast. It's like, bro, even if I could get it get 32 grand in a couple weeks, it's like it might be up to 50 grand at that point. Then it's like,
I saw your video where it's like, hey, what would happen if someone just spends $150,000 and buy all of these Secret Rare Spider-Man? Then I was like, well, there's people that can do it. Like did you see? It wasn't Dr. Profit. It was somebody else that posted on Twitter that they had 100 common Mickeys, and I was like, okay, like it's common. It's not the ultra rare that they did, but even still, if one common is 400, 10 is 4,000, so they spent $40,000 on just the common Mickeys. It's pretty ridiculous. But Dr. Profit has posted before. He's got like 35 or 37 of those golden apes, the extra larges.
Yeah.
It goes crazy.
How many of those are there?
There's 488, I believe.
Oh, there's not even that many.
Yeah, I think they probably kept minimum of 40, if not more. So he's got like 8 that's what he does. He goes and buys multiple % of each one. Like he's got like 45 alligator Loki, he's got like 27 storms, he's got 100 waltz. Dude's nuts. And that I get it. That's just one person, but there will be multiple people like him over the next year that come in and just crypto rich and just want to.
Yeah. I mean, dude, there's people that are crypto rich. There's all sorts of rich people out there, but like, I always just think like, what if LeBron James or not even LeBron James, but what if like a random NBA player that has made over $100 million? Like what if Tony Parker's bored, he's retired, he has over $100 million, says, you know what? He finds Veve on YouTube because he's looking up NFTs, just like how I found Veve. And he says, let's put 2 million in here. I've got over 100 million. Let's put 2 million in here, see what happens. Because he thinks it's going to 100x, just like we all do.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, $2 million could sweep the floor of one of the top NFTs on the app. So like $2 million is nothing. And the fact, so like when I see a surge like we've seen these past 24 hours with a lot of the blue chips, it's like they might not cool off. They might not come down, because even though whenever you look at a certain NFT on Veve for like a couple weeks and you get used to that price, like these are very low prices, especially looking at other NFT projects. So like the fact that there's only 1,000 Secret Rare Spider-Man, there's 1,000 Captain America Secret Rare, right? And there's 1,600 Deadpool. Like, bro, it's so scarce, it's insane. And I'm really looking a lot at Scarcity too, because I know that there's not a ton of Walt statues, but like Walt statue hasn't really pumped these past 48 hours compared to some of the other stuff has like doubled some of it. Yeah. And I really like those FA significant superheroes that have under 2,000. I like Superman a lot too. I know he has 8,800. But like you look at like Captain America 1,000, because like there's going to be people that buy 10 of them, and then there's going to be a lot of people that own one. But like the total amount of people that own that collectible, if there's only 1,000, there might only be 500 people that own it, or 400 people. That is such an exclusive group of people, like 400. Because what's going to happen is like real celebrities and real famous people and pro athletes are going to come in, and they're going to offer prices for those that like we normal people can't turn down. Like there's going to be a lot of people that will sell that Secret Rare Spider-Man for $100,000 just because they need $100,000 more than they need that. And what'll happen is these average people that got in early, like the people that own it now, will get replaced by Logan Pauls and by players in the NBA and NFL. And then you have 400 people, and half of them are famous people. So I'm really thinking a lot about that. And I'm thinking about which one of these NFTs could you build a private Discord around that has a lot of hype and a lot of buzz? Which of the Veve NFTs are significant enough where an NBA player would get onto Veve and make his Twitter picture the picture of that Veve NFT? And some of them, they're probably not prestigious enough, but like I could totally see, dude, someone in the NBA making their profile picture a Donnie, and they pay $150,000 for it or whatever. And it's interesting.
Yeah, I see it already when you have people like DJ Khaled and Eminem buying Bored Apes, and those are like, one of 10,000 and they're spending almost $500,000 on them each. And I think when you see that happening, okay, then they become cool. Paris Hilton putting .eth in her name on Twitter is like, hey, that makes it cool. It's no longer just nerds and Wall Street guys talking about it. Now it's like partiers and everything. Not that she's just a partier, although she's very good at that. She's an incredible businesswoman. And I think when you have something like that, like people from the NBA, I think when anime comes in, you'll have like some rappers, and you'll have it'll be really cool. And like, I don't know how you tend to judge things, or if you've seen some of my videos on it. Usually with rares, if you get like a sub 100 rare, it's usually about worth 6x of what the normal floor is. So when Journey's saying like number 128, I would say maybe about 3x. And if the floor is like 660, 2100 might be properly rated. But have you noticed any formulas or patterns or pattern recognition that you've seen some of the collectibles on what's over and undervalued?
Well, I do a lot of the same stuff you do, and I learned that through Pokemon, just how you did, which was interesting when I saw you talking about PSA 9 versus PSA 8, and you set up an equation. With Veve, it is a little bit trickier because sometimes you can't really compare. Like, for example, you could not compare the FA Spider-Man set to the FA Superman, because Superman, there's just one and there's 8,000 of it. But you definitely could find some parallels between Captain America, Deadpool, and Spider-Man. And then you do those formulas, which I made a video basically just.
Oh yeah, you reacted to it.
Yeah, I made a video that was based around your post on YouTube, where you had figured out the equation between an ultra rare and a secret rare. Marvel is 4x, and then the Spider-Man is different. I don't know if you've been paying attention to Captain America, but I saw the ultra rare didn't move that much, and the secret rare did. So, for example, anybody watching this, what you would do if you saw the secret rare jump and the ultra rare didn't, is you would invest in the ultra rare, figuring that the ultra rare would be 25% of that secret rare.
Yeah.
The thing is, Veve is so new that it's not like Pokemon PSA 9s and 8s, where there's like Pokemon across the board. It's a little easier to make. There's like probably dozens of comps to each card, if not hundreds. But this isn't all set in stone, but it's something to pay attention to for sure.
You said you currently, your portfolio is mostly just Spider-Man and a couple of Mickeys right now. Would you have any qualms about buying stuff with OMI, or is like your OMI like, hey, no, that's not meant for buying NFTs, that's meant just for mooning, or would you be okay with it?
Well, I don't have any OMI, man. I don't have any OMI yet. No, I need to get some. Yeah, I need to figure out the 15-step process or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't have any, and I know that you have talked about how OMI has an easier path to 10xing than a lot of these NFTs. So yeah, well, I definitely should need to add that to the portfolio. But I'm super new. Like, I seriously discovered Veve. Well, so I had heard about Veve. I don't know when, but it feels like about a year ago. Maybe it was 8 months ago. But yeah, I don't have any yet. And I really just got super knowledgeable on Veve just a few weeks ago, really. But the way my personality is it's like genetic. There's like, something different about my brain, but I will consume hundreds of hours on something if I'm obsessed with it. So even though I haven't put in months into Veve yet, my knowledge is more than like 99% of the average users. And then as months go by and years go by, it'll just get sharper and sharper. So
yeah, I don't know if that's like a ADHD thing where like I'll hyperfixate on one thing and honestly, it feels like, I don't know if you ever took Adderall back in the day, or Ritalin back in the day. My friend Sue, God rest her soul, she had like ADHD, and she's like, hey, you want to like try some Ritalin? And I was like, I've never tried it before. What is it? And she's like, it makes you like really focus. So I took some, and I played Pokemon Puzzle League for like 10 hours straight. And
that's funny.
When I get really, it was great. It was phenomenal. But never have when I hyperfixate on something like Veve or like Pokemon speedruns, and I'll just do nothing. Again, I spend most of my waking hours on the app and making videos about it. So I don't know if that has like do you have ADHD, or do you just, again, your brain is just wired differently, and maybe it's something like that?
Yeah, if you Google like Asperger's and even autism, you can find a lot of very like famous people that are very successful that are obviously not like
Elon Musk
fully autistic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I know for me, I've Googled the symptoms. Well, my family did, and they were like, dude, every single one. It was like freaking ridiculous. But I think, dude, and I'm like, who invented ADHD? Who invented, some of this stuff? Yeah. And I don't put a ton of weight into it. Like, I don't go to a doctor and get like officially diagnosed, but I've looked up some of that stuff. And basically, once I looked it up and recognized that about myself, it all made sense. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I see people across the internet, and yourself included, where definitely, it's not just a choice to get this knowledgeable about something. Part of it is, but like, it's also something different genetically when somebody can go all day, every day for months and years on the same subject and just become an expert. And yeah, I think that I've used it as a weapon for sure, more than holding me back, you know what I mean? And it's helped me a lot with TikTok and with sports betting, because I'll study sports for, you know, hours every day. And then I sell my predictions. So I'm able to sell a digital product, and helps a lot of people out that were like losing their bets and their predictions before finding me. So that's how I've made a lot of money. And then I see a very similar opportunity within Veve with these private groups. It just makes too much sense, man, for these people that, even somebody who makes $100,000 a year that wants to invest $1,000 a month in Veve. It makes too much sense for you or me or one of the Veve influencers, where we literally are on the app all day, every day. The moment we wake up, we check the market. We're checking the market, you know, at midnight, right before we go to bed. It just makes too much sense for them to pay $40 a month for a Patreon or a private Discord or whatever. And I saw Andre, Jick, and Foster, how they released theirs, and it was very interesting to me to see the community react so poorly to that. And I get it, because a lot of people get angry when they see people making money on the internet, but it makes so much sense. And I've seen it with stocks, I've seen it with like day traders, I've seen it with sports cards and Pokemon card groups, resale groups, sports betting. I've seen it. And it's actually a really, really positive sign. And if you're somebody who doesn't like that, just don't pay for a private group. You know what I mean? Don't pay for it. But the fact that there are people willing to pay $40 a month or $100 a month for their private Discord, it's a good sign. It basically gives me more confidence that Veve is here to stay long term. Yeah. And then it also gives me confidence in like, okay, I'm not wasting my time making all these Veve videos, because maybe in a year from now or whatever, I can, you know, have a private group where there's $40 a month, and then you have 2,000 people, and there you're making $80,000 a month. And it's so lucrative. It's hard to comprehend those numbers. But after making the money I've made off of TikTok, I've realized, dude, there's a lot of YouTubers that make $1 million a month, and it's nothing to them, because they built a following within a niche that's profitable. These niches where people are making money are like the best niches to make YouTube pages. And so it's a really cool thing, and it's a really good thing for everybody, even if they don't realize it yet.
Yeah, I kind of shot myself in the foot with that, because I had told people like,
you'd never do it, and then you're doing it, right?
No, I'm not doing it. But I did tell people that like, I think information should be free, and I should like, I kind of like, I tried to view it as like a almost as morally as I could, but then I realized, well, actually, if people are willing to pay for it, and I can make thousands a month, and I could put that into charity, that's probably the better thing to do. But I just I said I wouldn't do it. So I do put everything out for free, and you know, the people on Patreon, they don't really get anything. Is there to support me in the channel. But there is, I think there's also a cost to doing that too. Like, if suddenly I have you know, a bunch of people in a group all asking me, you know, multiple questions a day, and there's 100 of them, like all of my day is spent answering questions, which is fine if you're making like, you know, 5 figures a month, but it's, you know, there's a cost to that. I wouldn't be able to be as efficient.
One thing that I've realized, so my view completely changed on like paid Discords and courses, even when I got that TikTok course, because that was really one of the first courses I paid for. I paid $300. So I paid $300 for this TikTok course. Now I make over $30,000 a month because of my knowledge of TikTok, and combined with some other stuff. But it's like, dude, paying for information, if you have money to pay for it, is the way to go. Now, I've also been broke, right? When I was until I won that show, when I got paid when I was 23.
Yeah.
Even after I got paid though, I invested all the money. So I was living broke, really until I started working as a recruiter in the Army. Was the first time I got like decent paychecks, which was only $4,000 a month, but that was like the first time I wasn't living broke. And like, obviously, dude, if you're a broke college student or living month to month, like, you're not going to pay for information. It probably makes more sense for you to put in the hours and the time and learn. But like, now that I've increased my income so heavily, I would rather pay to get the information quicker. So like, instead of watching hundreds of hours of YouTube videos. I'd rather just pay you $100 a month, get straight into that Discord, comment a question, get a response, boom. And then another thing about these paid Discords is it's great because if you're having a conversation on Twitter or YouTube, you don't know who you're interacting with. You might be interacting with a complete idiot. But if you're paying $100 a month, this is the main reason why I'm going to join Andre's group.
Mm-hmm.
If you're paying $100 a month, the only people in that Discord are people that are paying $100 a month, which tells me that they're probably investing thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in Veve. So like what those guys are talking about in that group, there's some serious value there. And I really learned that because I made friends with this guy that had $1 million months. And he, $1 million month is insane. It's hard to comprehend. But basically, the way this guy worked, and he's only 24 right now. I think he's only 24. When I met him, he was 22. He will pay he'll pay $30,000 for a mastermind, bro. He'll pay $30,000. And when we see the Bored Ape Yacht Club and stuff, like these people, they're paying for a lot of things. One of the biggest utilities of that is that Discord that they're in and the private meetups, because obviously that's a much higher scale. It's like a couple $100,000 or whatever it is. But the group that you're joining, everyone else paid to get into that too. So they're all ballers. So when you have a private Discord, one of the biggest services that it provides isn't even necessarily the stuff you're putting into it, but just the fact that it gives people the opportunity to be in a private group where people pay $100 a month to be there, because everyone in there is serious. And it's crazy, but if you have all these wells in a Discord, you guys could get together and you could sweep a floor together. We've all swept a floor personally where it's like, okay, if I buy the 4 bottom on the floor will now raise from 450 to 480. And hopefully it'll get to 500. People will see the momentum. Like we've all thought that when we've bought multiples of the same NFT. You look at the floor.
Like 8 alligator locations.
Yeah. So imagine if you had a group where you're like, hey guys, this is what I'm about to do. I'm going to buy an alligator Loki every night for the next month, hopefully, or I'm going to buy 10 a month, whatever. And then what if 5 other people were like, you know what? I see the vision. I like that. I want to build a moat around my house in the metaverse too. And then you have like 5 or 10 dudes that are in this group all sweeping the same floor. Well, eventually that floor is going to just rise. So it's a crazy thing. And people don't like this type of stuff. They're like, they say, oh, it's a pump and dump, or the guy that was saying a pyramid scheme, Veve monster and stuff like that. Their brains just freak out because they don't understand like basic supply and demand and stuff like that. And there's really no rules to this. And it's not like the stock market, where the stock market, there are rules, but then also in the stock market, there's really not an infinite supply of stocks, but like there might as well be an infinite supply of stocks. It's not like you and 5 friends can get together and sweep the floor of a stock. But with this, when there's only 1,000 Captain America secret rares and they're only $3,000 each, like a couple guys that have $100,000 each together could easily sweep that floor and say, hey, we're not going to let this floor touch $5,000 again for the next year. And if you have enough people on the same page, like it's just crazy to see. Now, those types of things can happen, but also just being able to interact with other people that are serious about investing in this is a great thing too. Because right now we've got Twitter and we've got YouTube, but there's no barrier to entry on Twitter. So you don't know how good the advice is a lot of times.
Yeah, no, agreed. I don't know about you, but to answer Leon Gill's question about how we think of ideas for Veve, I was thinking today about messaging my friend Brandon, because girlfriend's got a place in the Poconos, and he works in an office where you could delegate tasks, like for, I don't know what the company's called, but they do home improvements or whatever. And he's a guy I used to work with. And I remember one time he showed me the video. I don't know if you saw my most recent video, or if you were ever into like the music scene at all, but there was one video called Sasquatch Music Festival 2009.
Yeah, and the dance. I saw that. It was a great use of that video. I did watch that video.
Yeah, so I just thought of that, and then I thought, oh, hey, one person do something, leadership. And I was sitting in my car getting ready to go into the gym, and I was just zoning out. I probably looked like a freak. I was just zoning out for like 6 minutes, thinking, okay, well, if the first person to do something, they can do that not just with dancing, but they could do that with buying the top of something. There's only one price. Nobody's ever paid this price. Well, if you're the first person to do that, then that gives others the courage to follow you. And sometimes you have to be like, I've done that before with Pokemon cards, and I know you saw the video, but to people here that haven't yet. So
Yeah,
something
that was an
random.
amazing video. Yeah, it was an amazing video. I see that in real estate too with certain neighborhoods. There are some distinctions in houses, like if the house is one of the only houses with a green belt in the backyard, and it's the only house in this neighborhood with a green belt. Well, let me list it for 450 instead of 420, and then all of a sudden you list it for 450. You see somebody else a street over list theirs for 440. And you're like, wow, okay, so they probably put it at 440 because they saw mine at 450. It's interesting stuff. It's like that across so many markets. And yeah, I actually did that with I don't know if you watch UFC at all, but I had a Sean O'Malley black refractor. It's so basically with the card craze over the past year, they're printing a ton of sports cards like this year and last year. But when this guy was a rookie, it was 2018. They didn't print very many UFC cards at all in 2018 because no one was buying them. So it's very scarce. But then I got his black refractor, which is numbered out of 10. And I got it for $2,000, and I threw it up on eBay for like 10 grand just instantly. And then I started seeing comps pop up way higher than they would have. And now all of a sudden the market's high. So it's very interesting with alternative investments, whether it be cards or like Veve NFTs. But like if something's scarce enough, you can just raise that floor so easy as the sellers. And the way I look at it with these NFTs that are 2,000 and less, like a lot of the superhero secret rares, and even the early ultra rares, every time there's a sell, every time it exchanges hands between one buyer or one buyer from a seller to a buyer, it's basically leaving short-term thinking flipper's hands to a long-term investor's hands in a lot of cases right now. So you can see like the floor sit at the same spot, but ultimately, if there's 1,000, secret rare Spider-Man, there might be 100 people willing to sell it. And then there might be 900 that aren't even thinking about selling it till it gets to 50 grand. And then every time one person sells it, now there's 99 people willing to sell for a reasonable price, 98. And then a month or two goes by, and then there's nobody willing to sell it for low. So then all the buyers are just forcing it up. So yeah, it's crazy. It's very fascinating, like everything going on right now, man. It's freaking crazy.
I love it when, I've said that before. As people that got in early, they go up and they triple or quadruple or even 10x their money, whatever. People that only have maybe $100,000, or even someone like me that has closing on that 7 figures thing again. If I can get 100K just in one click, and increase my net worth by like 10% or whatever, probably good to do that. But somebody worth 10 figures doesn't need to do that. 100K is not that much to them. But how do you come up with ideas for the Veve, for the YouTube?
Oh yeah,
TikTok,
for the YouTube.
or anything?
Yeah, so when I bought that TikTok course, man, I had like 150,000 followers or something like that. So I had a good following, but I was like kind of struggling. And the biggest thing the course taught me was that it's okay to copy people. And it sounds so crazy at first, but really, dude, like at least in America, we're brainwashed from the time we're kids. Like, don't copy people. And it's like you'll be sitting there taking a test, and there's a nerd next to you that's gonna get all the questions right. But you're like, morally, like, it's wrong to copy them. But it's like, dude, common sense, copy them, you'll get an A. But we're taught not to think that, so you have to unlearn it. But then you realize, okay, copying people is not the worst thing you can do. It's actually, if anything, a good thing, because it says, hey, like, I respect what you're doing. I think you're intelligent, and I'm going to do what you're doing. And with content, what I realized after that course, after they showed me, hey, don't to grow on TikTok, you have to make like 5 videos a day, which is impossible to think of 5 ideas on your own. So what you do is you type in the hashtag of your niche, and then you look at the top stuff, and then it might be a video about like, hey, you know, time value of money or something, and showing like, hey, when you purchase an Xbox and you're making $15 an hour, like you basically just traded X amount of hours of work. You basically say, okay, that's a great idea. That's a great TikTok. Let me do the same thing, but with a pair of shoes, $100 pair of running shoes.
Oh, that's a good point.
You work at McDonald's for $10 an hour, $100 pair of running shoes. You just paid $10 of labor for those shoes. So with Veve YouTube right now, nobody's really going viral, like getting a massive amount of views. But if they were, or you can just look at the top views, anything that hits like 10,000 views, copy that video. Obviously, don't copy it word for word, right? But copy check out what thumbnails work, check out what titles work. Right now, I think a really good one is my top 5 Veve investments for 2022. Like which NFTs will 5x. I mean, simple stuff like that. And just look around and see what everybody's making their titles, and then do your own version of. You can even copy their title, but the content in it, make your own version of that. And Veve is a very easy niche to make content in. There's stuff happening every day. Like today you could talk about like how there's probably like 5 different secret rare superheroes that I've seen explode. Why are they exploding? But the Walt statue is kind of sat at 14K. This is like daily news that you can make content on. So the content's endless with Veve, and that's one of the things I liked about it. Before I started making Veve videos, I knew that it would be easy to make content, which is really nice.
Yeah, I had two videos already today. One at like 2 a.m, one like a few hours ago, and thankfully I looked at my calendar before. I totally forgot that we were going live today at 5. I was about to go live again at like 3:30. I was like, oh wait, oh god, so I had to make everything really quickly. I had to
That's funny.
Yeah. So some news from the app. The Todd is at 5K, which is redonkulous. I didn't expect that to happen. At least not this soon. I thought that was a little crazy. It was at like 3,400 the other week.
That one's a perfect example where how many Todds are there? Like 4,000 or
7,500.
7,500. So that's a pretty good amount, but it's obviously such a blue chip. But there are a lot more Todds than a lot of the other like secret rares.
Yeah.
But like what's happened with Todd, because I've watched YouTube videos about it over the past, several months, like I rewatch them now, is there are a lot of smart investors that hold Todd. A lot of the average IQ of the Todd holder is higher than a lot of other of these collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
And as they sell each and every day, as people sell, somebody who's selling a Todd for 3.4K over the past week, they're not thinking long-term at all. Maybe they need, I would say they need the money, but you can't even cash out. So I don't know what their play is selling it, but like the person buying it most likely has a long-term mindset. So that Todd floor, even though it was kind of staying a little bit lower than what it should have been, in my opinion, like it was getting stronger. And now we're seeing a surge. And I know that a lot of people, I feel like I'm more bullish than a lot of people, but I think that Todd's will be 100K, and that's hard for people to wrap their mind around with 7,000.
Yes, it is. When do you think that'll, like, what's your time frame for that? That seems like an impossible mountain to climb.
It's not a matter of like if, it's when. And that's the thing. I couldn't give a spot on prediction, but like I've been saying, like you never know. Someone may tell LeBron James about Veve tomorrow. And then he's going to tell all his homies in the NBA.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And like as soon as that first NBA, and the guy, the soccer player,
Sergey
on Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
Bro, like he may have discovered Veve like a day before posting that, for all we know.
Yeah.
And he may be like, whoa, I just got a bunch of people with red circle emojis hitting me up. Like, wait. And then you never know. And then he tells his friends, and seriously, that even though it seems like that's a lot of mints, that's not a lot when we talk about people that are making $100 million playing sports. So it could get pushed really quick and really fast. But it also, maybe that doesn't happen for another 6 months. I hope it doesn't happen for another 6 months. I am literally rooting so hard for these NFTs to not go up in value, but like it's just going to happen. Like it's going to happen faster than we want it to. And it's like, build your positions now, man, and get what you can now, because it's going to get to, all of these will be $100,000. I mean, all of the blue chips like Todd, and I even think the Superman, the Superman might take longer. I don't know. That's how do you rank Superman versus Batman? Because technically that Superman is probably more scarce than the Batman, because there's so many different Batman collectibles between all the Batman characters that are out there.
Yeah, I sold all my Batman except for season 1, because with so many of them out there, first set's going to be the first set. But Superman, it's got, not that it has anything working against it. Maybe it has, more mint numbers than some people would like, but it's just that the Todd has not only the first Batman, but it's that first appearance of the first set ever on Veve. That will never change. That, like, doesn't matter what other big brands like Pokemon or Harry Potter or Star Wars they come out with. That being the first set won't change. And again, I've seen it in Pokemon. Why do all the hollows or most of the hollows from base set outperform the first appearance of Snorlax or Pidgeot or Scyther? It's just because they're not in base set, they're in Jungle and Fossil. But base set always going to be number one. So that's how I kind of rank them against each other.
Yeah, I feel like even though this is a pretty high amount that it's reached, it's like $5,000 is nothing for the first NFT. When you think about, Veve could go on a run for the next 20 years cranking out NFTs, and like
they've won the decade. That there's nothing. Everyone's saying like Recur and other things, and Recur is great, and I wish them success. And they might take number 2. They might take, their market share might go from 1% to 5% in the NFT space, but that doesn't really matter. If let's say Veve has 80% market share, and then that drops to 60% market share, some people might look at that at first glance and think, oh, see, they lost a quarter of their market share. Not when the whole market goes from 10 million to 100 million people. They might have lost the percentage of market share and a smaller piece of the pie, but that pie just grew like 100x. So I don't think they have any serious competition.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I guess people made Recur versus Veve videos before me, but I was probably most aggressive with it. I don't know if everyone's thinking this way, but I think a lot of people aren't thinking this way. Like, I really don't. There might not be very many comparisons with Recur and Veve. There are definite comparisons when you look at like Hello Kitty, Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob, things like that. You can compare like Nickelodeon to Cartoon Network very easily with like Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. But I watched the 2 co-founders, I don't know their names by heart, of Recur.
The Winklevoss twins?
Are those who they are?
The Winklevoss twins, yeah. They're on their Gary Vee stuff, yeah.
I don't even know much about them. I just listened to their interviews to kind of figure out what their vision is for this. And I feel like they are going to make their biggest splash with the college athletes. And I just think about, like, when I tell people about Veve, when I tell older people, my dad and his friends, when I tell people my age in their late 20s, what is going to get them to buy their first NFT? For some people, they're huge Batman fans, and they're like, dude, Batman has an NFT. Let me get one Batman NFT. I'll brag about how I got my first NFT. But for dude, the reality is, and it is changing for sure. And 20 years from now, it might not be this way, but like, college football is the biggest thing in American culture, really. And for me personally, I like the superhero NFTs more. And long term, I have a lot more faith because football players come and go so fast. But like, think of how big Johnny Manziel was at the peak at A&M. Whoever is the next Johnny Manziel in college football, maybe this fall there'll be a superstar that just takes over, like Lamar Jackson did, but they have to be at a Power 5 school.
Like LSU or Alabama or something.
Yeah, if they drop an NFT on Recur, there might be 50 million people jump straight into Recur to buy a quarterback's NFT. And to me, that's not even comparable to Veve, because Veve is doing something really unique and really special. But like, for me, I see Recur, I trust a lot of the same reasons I like Veve. I like Recur because the people behind it you can trust. Yeah. They're legit. They're showing their face. They have track records, even though I haven't done a ton of research on the co-founders, obviously. But really knowing Gary Vee, I know Gary Vee is very scared to screw over his followers. He's very like cautious about that. So you can trust in any projects he's putting his name behind and his personal brand behind. But yeah, dude, I think Recur will really blow up off of the sports stuff, but it's all speculation. Nobody knows what Recur is going to look like. All I know is as these Veve prices get higher, it becomes harder to 10x. Captain America at 3K is a lot harder to 10x than if you got a Captain America at 1.2K.
Yeah.
And when you look at Recur, there's a lot of people on the internet talking crap about them. That's only going to motivate them further. So, and I really like that too, because I know Gary Vee watches all this stuff. He's like how we talked about us, how we watch hundreds of hours of this stuff. He does too. And when he sees people talking crap, dude, he literally, if you look through his Twitter, people talk crap about NFTs all the time. And on TikTok, they're like, dude, it's just a JPEG. You can make a picture of it. He'll respond to that in his own words. He'll say, I forgot the word he used, but basically like saying like he's saving the comment to come back to it in 10 years. He's so competitive that I know that the fact that everyone's saying the things Cavell says, I just know that that's going to fuel Gary Vee to push harder and make sure this is successful. But I really look at Recur, and I think the college sports is their biggest competitive advantage. But there is no denying, like SpongeBob is just SpongeBob NFTs are a thing that could get people to buy their first NFT, which is it's a big deal. Like Patrick Starr, Gary the Snell, like those are pretty cool NFTs to have in your portfolio.
I would love that. I told people I don't have a Recur pass, but if they make 3D, like good 3D digital collectibles of like Riptar and Squidward, and like I would totally love to do that. I would totally get some. So yeah, I want them to be successful, because that will just, the more success, for NFT platforms out there, the more the hobby grows. And I don't care if they come into because of Quid or Terra Virtua or Illuvium or Recur. Eventually they'll find their way to Veve. And even if half of them, so it's not the same. I like this stuff over here. That's still going to be good for Veve.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. The athletes, like the Johnny Manziel of 2022, could drop his NFT on Recur, because Gary Vee could recruit him and work with him and stuff. And then all those people get to Recur, and then they're like, wait, dude, SpongeBob, this is sick, Ninja Turtles. Yeah. And then they go to YouTube. It's the same stuff getting suggested, the Recur videos and the Veve. They find Veve, they're like, bro, Batman, Spider-Man, like, let's go. So it's all going to help. Both of them will help each other. Similar, it's the exact same thing as when you see a Nike and an Under Armour and an Adidas store side by side. Like, the ignorant person that's uneducated would say, oh, they're competitors. But it's like, no, man, they're customers. The people that buy Nike also buy Adidas, and their customers are the same exact people. So that's why they build their stores next to each other. And, Ross and Marshalls and TJ Maxx, they're always on the same strip, because the people that go into Ross, they then go into TJ Maxx. So the people that buy NFTs on Recur will buy on Veve, and vice versa. And it does give me a lot of confidence when I see this, but I see the loyalty to Veve is so strong with these people that are part of the Veve cult. And I love that as an investor, because that tells me there's almost a 0% chance Veve is going anywhere, because the followers are so die hard that they see it as a no-no to go to Recur. And I'm just over here. I'm just trying to make money. I have a limited amount of money, and I have a lot more money than a lot of people, but I really have a limited amount of money. So I have to game plan what's the best way I can deploy this money. So for me, that's why I put in research into Recur, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities there. And you're going to want to stack. Like, people stacked over 100 Todds. There's people right now that have over 100 Todds. Like
150.
The opportunity to stack 100 of anything on Veve is out of reach for most people, including myself. A blue chip, you cannot get 100 of them unless you have infinite money. But that opportunity may exist on Recur. It may exist for a week. It may exist for a day. I mean, those Recur passes were sitting under retail at like $285 for at least 48 hours that I saw. Now they're up to $800. So same thing could happen with Recur NFTs. And I'm not going to hesitate if they have a drop and something sells for below retail. I already know, because all of the stuff that I've learned with Veve, people talk about scooping up those Todds for so low. And I hope that there's an opportunity like that on Recur. That way I can load up. And seriously, what I'll do with the profit is probably buy more Secret Rare Spider-Mans, or, buy these blue chips on Veve. So that's really the way my mind's going right now. It's kind of my game plan for the next 3 months.
Yeah, I when they have OMI to NFT, that's really when my purchasing power comes in, because I have like nothing in my bank account left but 116 million OMI, and when they have, when that even goes to, let's say, like 5 cents, and suddenly I have like $6 million, and I could spend 1% of that, $60,000, just sweeping whatever the fudge I want. Now I'd save that for Pokemon most likely, but or maybe I'd just do both. But I like things that are, I don't want to say proven, but that are the least speculative, unless I know a lot of various outcomes. Like why I never really got into sports cards, or especially college football, is because it's so speculative. Like I would take a look at like Pokemon card, or any sports guy that let's say I like, and let's say like even if they were just accused of something, not even that they did it, they say, oh, like he beat his girlfriend. Well, actually what happened is this, but the reputation is tarnished. Like, Batman is not going to get, canceled for, hitting a girl, and Superman's not going to get busted for steroids. So when somebody like Leon asked me like, hey, what should you do? Should I trade one of my 4 ultra rare Steamboat Willies for a Todd? I think that if I had the choice of just having one or one of the other, I'd rather get a Todd, just because it's the first. But if I had 4 Steamboat Willies and only 1 Todd or no Todds, I would trade one, just to, because I already have 3 more on top of that. And I think Todd, even though that's mooned already, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of gave my thoughts on Todd a second ago. They're pretty high, but the one thing that I kind of would hold back with Steamboat Willie is that it's not his FA, and people talk about, oh, it's his FA in real life, which, dude, it's a blue chip, like it's a big deal. It's going to go up over time, but I do think that those FAs matter a lot more than people can comprehend, because just like sports cards, LeBron James, he's been in the NBA for 20 years or however long. His second year card is not worth very much money. His third year is not really worth anything. It's his first year is worth 50 times what that third year one is. So all the value is in the first year in sports. All the value in this is in the FA. So even though Steamboat Willie Mickey is a blue chip and it's a big deal because of the FA in real life, guess what? There's going to be 50 other Mickey Mouse NFTs that roll out over the next 5 years. You know what I mean? There's going to be so many Mickey Mouse NFTs coming out. Maybe they trickle one every 3 months. Maybe there's one a month. But we'll get to this point where there's 50 different Mickey Mouse NFTs. The Walt statue is going to be his FA. So I would rather have Batman's FA, just because, it's an FA. And it's the first on Veve, which is insane to think about. That's like, that's hard to even draw comparisons to. It's literally the first ever on an app that could be, I think Veve will be such a household name 10 years from now. And I think we'll have decades of history, and that one will be huge.
I think it'll be a household name next year. If not, I think next year it would be, just because I see a lot of families I ran into this one guy when I was in decon, and you got to come to the next meetup. I think it's Level Up Expo in February in Vegas. They're amazing. But
That's funny.
Yeah, it's great. I ran into this one guy that had him and his brothers, like, they didn't like hate each other or anything, but they just didn't really have anything in common. But then he told them about the app, and now they have like a group text going on, and now like every single time there's a drop, hey, are you guys about to get it? Did you get any? So I think it brings a lot of families closer together.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. That's kind of how I don't have much in common with my bro. I have two brothers. My one that's 3 years younger. I don't have much in common, but I kind of got that going with him with Pokemon, because I love to invest and I love alternative investing, and he loves Pokemon, but he doesn't think about money at all. So yeah, that's pretty interesting too, because I feel like everybody can appreciate Veve. I'm trying to get him into Veve now, but we'll see. He doesn't get excited about money at all like I do, so it's hard. But once Pokemon comes to Veve, it'll be easy to get him on there. Easy.
Yeah, I've converted maybe about 6 or 7 people that I knew from the Pokemon collecting days, and they are now into Veve. And that is, I don't want to say nothing, because they all make impacts, but compared to all the people I know that don't just like it, that it's like, oh, hey, hot topic, Pikachu sneakers. I mean that people that understand the ebbs and flows of the market and the peaks and valleys, that have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, to come invest in this. Yeah, that is going to be the biggest gem squeeze that I feel that this app has ever seen. The next gem squeeze outside of Secret Rare Spider-Man, what's something else that you would stack?
Oh man, I mean, you can't really stack Secret Rare Spider-Man unless you're fucking loaded. But man, even at $5,000, Todd's insane. Okay, so the thing is, someone just commented it about Captain America. Secret Rare is not his FA. Kind of sucks. I love Secret Rare Deadpool, but the Christmas sweater and stuff is a huge turnoff for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's so tricky here, but I consider Captain America and Deadpool like right there on that second tier under the big three. But I really like this stuff that's super scarce. I really want it to be 1,000 mints or less, where like you have that community, like, oh, I own one of these. Like when I meet someone on Twitter that owns a Secret Rare Spider-Man, it's like, dude, this is one of 1,000 people I'm talking to. That's cool. Yeah. So I'm looking for stuff like that. And I like the Christmas. I like the Christmas FA of Deadpool, because there's only 1,600. And like, I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, I could buy 16 of those. And I could own 1% of them. And the thing is, with those Christmas accessories, the thing about Deadpool is like, I could totally see in a movie him messing around wearing that. Whereas with the other superheroes, like, there's really no chance that Superman's going to be wearing that. But like Deadpool does these things, and I feel like it fits him really well compared to the others. What do you think, man? Like imagine they roll out the second Deadpool NFT wave is like just him in his outfit, and it looks a lot better. It looks a lot more cool, like how we want this to look. Yeah. How do you think that FA will hold value long term? I really think just being an FA, it doesn't matter that it has the accessories. It's going to be a big deal 10 years from now. What do you think, though?
No, that's a good point. I've been asked this about the Disney gold moments, like which one's the actual first one. And I think in the future, people will just associate every single Disney NFT that came out that week in gold moments. They were all the first ones. Like they will share that title. But I think it does matter the first appearance, because I've seen it in Pokemon. Like why is the first edition Charizard more valuable than the Shadowless, even though there's less Shadowless that are graded, and you can get it for a fraction of the price. I think just because it has that first edition stamp, it's the same artwork, same everything, just one has a stamp and one doesn't. So I think that first appearance Deadpool will probably hold more value over any others that come in, unless that the next Deadpool has like half the mints. You know, let's say it has secret rare alligator Loki mints, and it's got 800 instead of 1600. You know, that's probably a reason why.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would really be a tough prediction to make, because the thing is, even if it has half the mints, like if enough people buy 10 or 20 of the FA, you could have half the amount of holders holding it. So the like exclusive group. I've been thinking a lot, man, about like private groups and private discords. Like you could make a private discord for a Veve collectible and confirm that someone has it before they get in. And I feel like that will add value because people will want to be in that group chat. And then like, what if we see a celebrity get into that group chat and we make a YouTube video about it? And it's like, holy cow, dude, you can be in a Discord with Logan Paul and 400 other people, and he's in there. He's commenting every day. Like the value of it will actually go up, which is insane. Just something that's completely not even in Veve's control. Just someone makes that Discord. It's nuts.
Yeah. That's why there was a space going on with Twitter space with Peter Schenkman, Jeremiah Aoyang, and Dan Schawbel. And I don't know if you know about this, but they had said that they were making a private Discord chat called HT3, you know, the Hotel Tango 3, the Holy Trinity 3, with Superman, the Todd McFarlane Batman, and the Secret Rare Spider-Man. And if you have any one of those, you know, you don't have to have all three, any one, you can go and you can be part of that group. And even if they did not have a, you know, as a lot of experience with Veve, because at the time they didn't, but they have a lot of experience with, you know, Web 3.0 and being serial entrepreneurs. And, you know, Dan Schawbel is a New York Times bestseller. He's interviewed Todd McFarlane. He's interviewed, you know, Kevin Smith, a lot of these really big comic book people. Just being around those people that have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter and they're super successful. That's worth it just to buy at the time, Superman was like $1,000 or $800. That was worth it in my opinion.
You know, what'd be cool is to make a group if you have all three of those right now, because the barrier to entry would be, well, right now, shit, it would be like almost 40 grand. It'd be like 35 grand to get in. So have you seen Gary Vee's NFT project, VeeFriends? Have you followed that at all?
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant the way that he made himself a New York Times bestseller. Say, hey, if you buy 10 of these books, you get a free Gary Vee NFT. And some of those are selling for lots of money.
Yeah, so I don't know what he gave out for buying the 12 books. I think it was actually a different NFT, maybe his book version. I haven't followed. I needed to look. But his VeeFriends, man, you need that NFT to go to his VeeCon, which is like his entrepreneur conference where
that's cool.
Everyone's up. And there's only 5,000 holders, so it's only going to be 5,000 people there. It's not going to be a massive amount of people. And the floor is up to like 37 grand last I checked. So now it's one of those things where it's like, dude, what a networking opportunity though. Like if you have one of those, you're going to be, these people that pay 37 grand for an NFT, one, they're very knowledgeable of NFTs and they have just enough to buy it, or they're filthy rich and they understand the value of NFTs enough to buy it. So it's going to be an insane exclusive, like Mastermind type of convention now that you have to pay 40 grand just to go.
I love the idea that in the future, Gary Vee said, hey, when I'm looking to hire someone, I won't be looking at their Facebook anymore or their LinkedIn. I'm just going to be looking at their NFT wallet to see what they spend. And I understand that on so many levels. When I was in high risk lending, you know, I looked past the credit score and I looked past, well, I mean, I still looked at it, but I looked at their bank statements and determining who I would give money to. I would much rather give money to somebody that was making less if they were spending their money on good stuff, as opposed to somebody that was making, you know, like 50 grand a month instead of 20 grand a month, but they were blowing all their money in Vegas, or they were, you know, pulling out hundreds of dollars at a casino every other Friday night. And I think being able to look at people's NFTs saying like, oh, hey, he bought this, that means he's a fan of this, or he bought this for whatever. I think that's a really good way for people to flex kind of without flexing. It's like, oh, you're just showing off because that's worth like $100,000. No, I just really love Spider-Man. So some people kind of have that really big thing also.
Yeah. They so dude, you were doing high risk lending. Is that like a payday loan or something? Like
No, those I've seen those. Those should be illegal. Like the people that
yeah. What type of people were you evaluating? Was it people that were not very responsible with money, or was it?
No, it was business owners. So
Okay.
I'll say 60-40.
So
Like
probably like the opposite of that then, if they're
kind of like there's people there that, you know, let's say the credit score is like 590 or 600 or whatever. Okay, is it 600, you know, because they don't pay their bills, or is it, you know, like 580 because, you know, they just went through like a divorce and they're in construction, so they're owed like 80 grand on like a couple of old jobs because they don't get paid for 30 or 60 or 90 days after the job is finished, and they take out credit cards at Home Depot and Lowe's to buy materials for the next job, and they're using their money to pay their people so that they continue showing up for work.
Okay.
And it's just differences like that. And I'd much rather pay that person as opposed to somebody that's just like, yeah, I closed up shop for a couple of days, go on vacation, and, you know, even though I don't have any money in my bank account, I was like, so yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Dude, when you talk about like applying for jobs and he looks at their NFT collection, I don't know if you probably haven't looked into this, but I was looking at Recur and their hiring page. They're hiring so many different positions, and
they're hiring everybody.
Yeah, I was really interested to see that because it kind of gives you insight on like what their game plan might be. But damn, bro, they're hiring so many people, and I'll never work a job, but that would be a fun job for people out there that, you know, might want a new job. That seems like a cool company to work for. But it's just funny to me to think like attaching a resume and stuff. It's like, come on, man. Like, look at my YouTube channel, look at my Instagram, and you know what I'm about already. Just looking at that. It's so much better of a resume than a resume. And it's interesting. So I totally see what he's saying. It's kind of hard for me to see, but I feel like your Instagram, you know, is a pretty good indicator of what type of employee you'd be.
Yeah, agreed. I would also make the argument that there's probably a small subset of people that would say they know that people are going to look at that. So they have 2 or 3 Instagrams. Like one is like professional and the other's just like, you know, double fisting bottles of tequila and, you know, when you're naked somehow.
Yeah.
The fun stuff.
When I was recruiting for my door-to-door sales team, I wanted to see I was recruiting dudes and I needed guys that were confident. So I was looking to see all sorts of different things that were just not normal things you would look at when you're like hiring for a normal job.
Yeah.
But that last question that you just flipped off of, what do you think about that with Storm's secret rare? Maybe educate me a little bit on that, because I'm not a X-Men expert, but I feel like X-Men ranks pretty freaking high within superheroes. And even though Storm isn't the number one character of all the X-Men, that's going to be the FA of the FA for X-Men, right? So
that is.
What do you think? What do you think? Like 5 years from now, you got Wolverine is probably the top one, but like, how would that one appreciate? Because it's pretty low mint, and it's only $1,000 right now, I think.
Yeah, so it just shot out to like 1,100. It was like 969 or something like that. But just brief history: Storm was the first African American woman ever in Marvel Comics. Not just X-Men, not just, you know, like Avengers, like ever. Like they had Black Panther and they had Luke Cage, but, you know, those were men. So she's the first African American woman. She was born in Harlem. There was a lot of racial tensions at that time. So at 6 months old, her parents moved her to Egypt, and she was in like lower class society. She actually fell in love with Black Panther, and they had a relationship a couple times. So there's rumors that she'll be in the Black Panther 2 movie, Wakanda Forever. And also she's an Omega level 5, like a Omega level mutant. Like if you put Avengers versus X-Men will win every single time. Like X-Men absolutely wiped the floor with them. mostly just because they have Jean Grey. You know, they have Charles. There's just, but she's an Omega level 1. She's one of the leaders. I think that one, Halle Berry playing her was great, but in the future, Kevin Feige takes such good care of the products. He takes such good care of everything. Why I think Doctor Doom is pretty underrated too is because you haven't had a good Doctor Doom yet in any of the movies, and Storm you haven't really seen in movies in a long time. So I have 5 of her, 3 of which are sub 100, and 1 of which is just number 43. So I saw one number 42 going for like 5,200, and I was trying to tell people, like, if you buy this for me, I'll give you $7,000 worth of OMI when OMI moons. Please buy this for me. And no one was able to do it. It's like, damn. But I have 5 of her, not because just because she was undervalued.
That's crazy. Halle Berry played her. It's nuts, dude. I mean, I have a lot to learn. So the thing with me is, bro, I didn't do any Pokemon my whole life. I was never into it. And I did a ton of research on Pokemon like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. I basically had to learn all this stuff that I didn't know. And it's the same thing with superheroes. You know, I went and watched the superhero movies, but I never dove deep in. I just understand that it's a lot of people's life, and a lot of people, it's their number one passion and obsession. So that's what gives me confidence investing in it. But damn, bro, I feel like that Storm has a lot of potential. There's only 1,500. There's only 1,500. So if you buy 15, you own 1%. So whatever the market cap is, you own 1% of that. It's like, holy cow, man. I think in 6 months, you're not going to be able to stack something that relevant. It
will be impossible because there's 2 reasons. One, because of whales coming in and they're just going to be like, let's go and do this. Is going to be a popular character. Let's go and sweep it up. One guy on Wall Street that makes $10 million a year and a couple of his buddies are going to come in and just murder people, like blood in the streets. They're just going to sweep up all these floors. And seen it before in Pokemon as like, hey, this people being so butthurt that the price goes from, $600 to $4,000. Like, this isn't fair. I'm not going to pay that. I was like, okay, well, don't pay that. There's other people that will.
Exactly.
Prices don't care about your feelings.
And the thing is, man, like, look, we all have the opportunity to get rich. So my whole thought on that, when I see people do that, is like, I don't get angry or jealous. It honestly inspires me. And I think, like, I'm going to get to that point. And I've progressed so much as far as like my money goals in life, but I have so much more to go. And like, I wish I had millions of dollars right now, but there will be another opportunity like this. And it's hard to imagine because Veve's like freaking amazing opportunity, but there'll be good opportunities. And if you can become a millionaire through Veve, you'll be a millionaire when that opportunity comes. And then the next one, and before you know it, you'll be old and your net worth will be worth 20 million. And when you're 65 and you've got tens of millions of dollars, you'll be the one that's coming in and just sweeping these floors. Yeah. So, just have fun with it and don't get, it sucks. It sucks when these things get out of range because I don't own a lot of this stuff. And, realtor Aaron Baker talking about the Superman, dude, I want to stack Superman so bad. I just don't have enough money to stack everything, but Superman it's such a beautiful like NFT, and I don't really care about the art on most things. I hear people talk about it and they like the 3D image versus the 2D and it's important to them. I really just care about like, will this thing go up in value long term? And like people that care about the appearance of these NFTs, that Superman is one of the coolest looking ones. And
it's beautiful.
I think he's right with the 5 ETH, and a lot of these dude would go for 5 ETH. Like, it's hard to comprehend how cheap these are on Veve just because
it's closed.
It's closed. And if they were on OpenSea, like, holy shit, dude, a lot of these NFTs would be $100,000. And
how do you, I just find it hard to wrap my head around that because we have more users than OpenSea. And I get it. OpenSea has a lot more money. They have a lot more, ETH rich people. I just feel like, and I get it, it's hard to be able to buy gems. It's hard. But from what I had read, on this guy Puddin Cheeks. Puddin Cheeks has a YouTube channel, and he's pretty big on Twitter also. Tracks the money that goes into Veve, and he said that in December, or actually 50% of all money that went into Veve, 50% of it went in December.
That's crazy.
Which is freaking bananas. But
wow.
Yeah, it makes sense. And that's around like the holidays when people are like shopping for their kids and they're, they have to impress people that they don't like by buying them stuff to put on airs. But now that it's over, I think after tax season, boom, I think we moon even harder. But I just 5 ETH just seems like a lot.
What are your thoughts on it? On ETH long term? Real quick.
Go.
That's real quick on the ETH thing is like, bro, there's some stuff on OpenSea that has no relevance. It's a ape smoking a cigar, like, and we're talking about superheroes that existed like before our parents were born. Like these things have generations of history. So to me, I think it's freaking insane, Bored Ape Yacht Club. But if Gary Vee can scribble a picture of an animal and give it a corny nickname and it can sell, then Superman, bro, should for sure sell. But yeah, I mispronounced the name right there. I mean, obviously, I'm not qualified to be talking about that one. I would need to do research on that. So, I mean, that's the thing. I'm always super transparent. Like even with sports betting, people will ask me about a game, and I'm like, look, dude, I didn't study that game, so don't go with your gut. I don't know, but what do you think? What do you think about what he's asking with the Chinese market?
I spent 1,000 on it when it first came out, so people are clearly already willing to spend $1,000 on it, if not more. So I think that and that's another reason why I bought a bunch of alligator Lokis and a bunch of storms, is because my first alligator Loki I spent 1,600 on. My first storm I spent 1,900 on. When alligator Loki is 800 and storm was 749, it's like, this is stupid. This is buy everything, because people like and I bought, not as soon as the market opened when people are buying for like 3K. I bought when it settled down a bit and all of them were delivered. So yeah, these are Edo. I think when China comes in, I think there was a statistic, and this was also like a month or two ago. I was on I think it was with Sleeping Comics. I was on a stream somewhere, and somebody said, at the time, there was only like 300 accounts in Hong Kong. So when you have, and again, that was like a month or two ago, but
it's crazy.
China's got 900 million smartphones. You get 1% of those people, and
that's nuts, dude. And the thing is, there's a lot of wealthy people in China. There's a lot of people that just have infinite money. What do you know about Ultraman? What do you think about Ultraman? Because apparently that's one of the number one superheroes over there.
Yeah, that's Edo is in the Ultraman world. They're part of the same sets. So
okay, so same exact.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. Which I was like, this is great.
I was looking at the Ultraman. I guess Ultra Rare is the most rare version, and then it's just so low. And I think maybe it's just because there's a whole market for it that hasn't gotten onto the app yet.
Yeah, there's so many. Like, again, localization, they said, is already done. All they have to do is push a button for them to be like, hey, now it's translated into Mandarin, Chinese, Spanish, Russian, and I think
Nikes, bro. That's crazy. Like, there's so much room for these NFTs to pump, bro. There's so much room. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that they were just waiting on their staff to grow so that they can accommodate people in those languages, that speak it, and they could help them out with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know what is going to be the first catalyst. I'm hoping exchanges, for OMI to go up, and then I hope OMI to NFT, and then I hope localization. But what's the biggest catalyst that you're most excited for?
Well, really, the celebrities and pro athletes openly getting in, because, like, pro athletes, they're obviously, some of them are famous, but like, I'm more of thinking like just a random dude that makes $4 million a year. That's like a random running back on a not a big deal, like, you know, as far, but I mean, everyone's a big deal in the NFL, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking, like, once that guy gets there, spreads in the locker room, then all of a sudden Odell Beckham Jr. is talking about how he got a secret rare Spider-Man, and then he's doing a fucking Spider-Man web after he scores a touchdown, and that's his thing. You know what I mean? Like,
That makes so much sense, because I've seen football players do like the Fortnite dances, you know, as soon as they score. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
And it's like, oh yeah, he's doing that Spider-Man thing, bro, because he's got you know, he bought 50 of those secret rare Spider-Man NFTs. They're worth $100,000 each now. He's got 50 of them, and it's like, dude, he could buy 50 of them like effortlessly. It's not even he wouldn't even sweat it. He could buy 50, and then he owns, you know, 5% of the freaking supply for it, and he's the Spider-Man guy. And
I could picture Dennis Rodman doing that.
Yeah. Literally, there's so many. Dude, I don't know if you watch NBA. I don't watch it really much. I don't watch a ton of sports anymore outside the sports betting research I do. But like, what was I going to say? The slam dunk contest, Dwight Howard, he would always do the Superman skits where, like, he'd go into a phone booth, he'd take his uniform off, and he's in a Superman suit, and he'd go do the dunk. And I'm like, bro, it makes too much sense for him to buy a Superman NFT on Veve. Like, it just makes so much sense for him. Same with Cam Newton, you know, quarterback on the Panthers. He does the Superman, you know, rips his chest after a touchdown. So it's like, it makes so much sense for him. He's a quarterback, so he's made over 100 million probably for sure over his career. So like,
yeah,
he could buy it all.
What I'm really waiting, and not that I want this to happen, I hope every addict gets help, but there's a reason, and I've gone over this before, why I typically don't like a lot of money in my bank account, because I buy all the alcohol, I buy all like the good junk food. Not that there is good junk food, but there's going to be someone like Nick Cage that comes on here that is a celebrity, or like Johnny Depp that spends like $30,000 a month in wine, and you know, Nick Cage will sell all his comic books, and he'll come in and he'll spend his last $1,000 on on like a Becky Coonan Batman or something. I can picture this is very addicting, and addiction knows no bounds when it comes to royalty or it comes to celebrity.
This is not a bad addiction to have, though, buying Veve NFTs, at least right now, because like, you could buy anything and it's gonna be up in a year, almost anything. You know what I really love is when I was buying cards, and I still have a ton of cards. I need to just get rid of them and sell them and get the money for them. But like, it is so nice to have your wealth stored in a digital asset, because you don't have to worry about getting your house robbed. You know what I mean? Like, if we were talking about, there's people that have channels around like sports cards, Jordan sneakers, like the basketball shoes. And it's like, bro, they have like $300,000 worth of Jordan shoes in a spare bedroom in their house. And it's like, what if your house burns down, you know? Like, there's so many things, and it's so nice to not have to stress. It's just so much more convenient. These digital collectibles, they just make so much sense. And I'm so glad that like people have moved towards them pretty much.
Yeah, when I got my trophy Kangaskhan, or pretty much every card over $1,000, which at one point was a lot of them, I would put into a bank vault. I would just put it into, I got a safe deposit box at the bank, and I put that there. The one thing I think that could break some of these addictions is if in the Veveverse there's like challenges, like, you know how people speed run games like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or Mario Bros or Mario Kart. I think that if, let's say like Pac-Man or Galaga, it's a game that maybe doesn't end, and in order to get the high score, maybe you need to like sacrifice a collectible, or if you burn a set, then you get, you know, 5 more lives, and then you suddenly get the high score. Like, maybe for some people, having certain sets isn't as important as somebody's name being the top person of that game, because having your name on something, I don't know if you ever read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, but just saying that, like, hey, whoever gets me the most grass or hay for my rabbits, I'll name it after them. I'll name it after you. I think, yeah. Are you excited for the Veveverse gamification, or are you just like, that's going to be more I need to research and study?
No, dude, it's a big deal. And when I got my Oculus for Christmas, it made it very easy to comprehend. I made a YouTube video telling people to buy an Oculus for $300 because you'll be able to comprehend how big the Veveverse is so much easier just off that investment. That investment in that Oculus, is $400. There's a cheaper one for $300 that you can get though, and like it just makes me understand so much better, like that the Veveverse and all these metaverses are going to take over so hard. And I used to watch Cavell's videos and he'd talk about the metaverse, and like I was like, dude, this guy is so delusional, it's insane. But I was like funny. I was like, I knew he was intelligent because I respected his opinion from just watching his first video. I could tell he knew what he was talking about. But I was like, dude, this guy knows what he's talking about, but like the things he's saying are freaking insane. Like they make no sense. And then as I kept watching and I did more research, I learned like, okay,
did more reaction videos.
yeah. And once I got that freaking Oculus, bro, it's like, holy cow, this is gonna be insane. And the thing is too, like a lot of these NFTs don't really translate over into the metaverse. And like, bro, playing a Spider-Man video game on the Oculus is like, that's the number one video game I want to see on the Oculus, because you have your headset, so you're in there, you have your handhelds, and you just pull the trigger and shoot and pull, and it's like it feels real. It really feels real. Like I was throwing the football in there, it felt so real, like I was in there. And you lose, like you completely forget about that you're in your living room. And yeah, so I'm super excited about it. Do you think so? That's one thing that's another thing that I love about Veve. I feel like their NFTs translate over into mini games very easily compared to other NFTs. Yeah. Is Mario gonna come to Veve? Is there any rumors about that or any indicators?
So yes and no. And what I'll do is I will wind the clocks back here to October of last year, or October, a few months ago, where I had gone on and I had made a video about strictly about Nintendo and Pokemon coming to the to Veve, and why I thought it was going to be in October, just because it would have been the 3-year anniversary of them being able to go and go back to their original tweets. And their original tweets were absolutely bananas with Alfred Archon, and they were hashtagging Nintendo and Mario Bros, and they were tagging Pokemon, and I was like, what is this? And I feel like this is something that maybe only 1 or 2 people had talked about, and I don't know why I can't. Oh, it was 2021. That's why I'm an idiot. So it was back in September and August and October of 2018. Wow. They had gone on. Yeah. So they were talking about this for years. It's not like it was something that was, oh, hey, here's something from, a few months ago. But in 16 August, it was, a lot of people said they'd love to have Pokemon on the blockchain. We aren't there yet, but the man responsible for it is head of licensing at OMI, and OMI was the one tweeting that. And you see that along with 13 September saying, meet Alfred Archon, world #1 in licensing and branding, responsible for some of your favorite childhood memories, head of license acquisition at OMI, #Pokemon, #TMNT, #Mario Bros, #Nintendo. And I was like, what? There's no way. And, finally in October, they say 20 years ago, Pokemon was introduced to the Western world. It's now the highest grossing brand / intellectual property. The man responsible for that is head of licensing at OMI. I was like, Jesus, tap dancing Christ. They're really pushing it.
That's crazy.
And this is in 2018. So yes, I 100% believe that we are going to have all of Nintendo on here. And yeah.
that's like that's one of the biggest IPs I could think of, because there's so many characters that, like,
yeah,
dude, like a Princess Peach, Secret Rare, like holy cow, like Toad. There's so many fan favorites.
Yeah,
they're like all fan favorites. Luigi.
December of next year is what the Mario movie is coming out, so I think they'll have something like that.
Oh man, that's crazy, bro.
And could you?
No, go ahead.
I was saying, like, could you imagine, like, there's one kid on YouTube or I don't say he's a man, he's 25, but he has a Bored Ape that he got like years ago, and he says like some people are telling me to sell it for like 400,000 or whatever. It's like, but I don't want to, because now I can party with celebrities, I could party with friends, and like, where else are you going to be able to do that? You can't like, maybe you could, you just can't. Like, in order to party with those people or to get them to come perform or whatever, it'll cost hundreds of thousands of dollars each time. But now you could do it with them basically for free because you have that. I think that will happen currently, like you said, with Pokemon, with Mario, with like Bowser, the villains. I think that might happen with movies. Like if Ryan Reynolds comes in, or not Ryan Reynolds, who's Charlie Day, I think, is Luigi, and Chris Pratt is going to be Mario, in the animated movie. I think that they might do something saying, hey, if you have my NFT from this movie, you can come to the premiere or something like that.
Yeah, and really what it comes down to is which characters are the most scarce.
Yeah.
Because, like even with the Superman FA, you can't really do it because there's freaking 8,800 of them.
That's a lot.
So like Bowser, if Bowser, the FA has 7,500, we're going to need some scarcity. Like what they just did with that Black Spider-Man suit comic book's perfect. If they, like, imagine if they said, okay, for Bowser's FA, we're only going to have 40 secret rares. And then we'll have another Bowser where there's 10,000 of them. Then it's like, okay, if you're one of the 40 people, that's a huge deal. And
yeah,
I honestly think I could see, someone needs to make these private groups for each NFT that's scarce. That'd be easy to manage. But I could see Logan Paul really being a catalyst for these Pokemon NFTs. And I'm pretty sure that's why he got on Veve to begin with, is speculating, to pick up these Pokemon NFTs. And
yeah.
Dude, he can pump the value of alternative investments so fast. So yeah, Pokemon obviously is going to be freaking insane, man.
I can't wait. Have you seen Dan Lee's video on the power of staking? He says, like, with OMI staking, OMI will be $1. I didn't watch it yet, but apparently he compares it to Hex. And when Hex started, you were able to stake Hex, it shot up like 40x or something like that. It went from like under a penny to like 30 cents. And he's basically making the comparison with OMI. And I don't know if you read the OMI utility where they were talking about the 3 tiers of staking. It just seemed like not that much. If OMI moons, I think it'll be just on exchanges. I don't think it'll be from staking. But what are your thoughts on it?
Oh man, I don't know enough about it. But it seems like OMI is one of the best investments you can make. It seems like such a sure fire thing. The people that own it now are not going to sell it. And there's so many people that want, like, bro, if I could buy it right now, easy, I'd buy it. But I don't really, I need to do research on how to buy it, and I need to learn how to buy it, how many people are willing to do that right now. So yeah, I think as soon as it gets on like crypto.com app or what's the other one?
KuCoin, Kraken,
Coinbase. Once it hits Coinbase, it's like it'll just freaking blow up. But hey, I'm gonna hop off. But it was fun, man. I know you're gonna go for another hour and a half on here, right?
I guess I will. I guess I'll answer some people's questions and then I'll bow. But feel free, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it was fun. I'll DM you on. I'll keep DMing you on Twitter. I'll stay in touch, and it was really good to meet you, man. Thanks for inviting me on. I had a ton of fun.
Yeah, thanks for answering. All right, peace, man. Peace. Adios.
All right, I'll see you later.
Right.
Bye.
So, Brian using NFTs. Yeah, apparently Korn, they're really cool people also, and they're nice, and but Slipknot I love. Like, actually, we haven't done a Patreon of this guy in a while. And the rains will kill us all, throw ourselves against the wall, and no one else can see the preservation of the mortar in me. Psychosocial. So yeah, I think when we've had rappers go and put this in music videos, put Teslas in music videos already, and that, Teslas kind of just sell themselves. But I think that you're correct when these are in music videos. we've had Mr. J1S have Earth 2 in his music videos. He's a rapper. Non-fungible, wonderful, putting Veve and OMI, putting me in one of the rap videos, one of like the highest compliments I could ever receive. So shout out to the Pineapple Gang. Want to be able to sell on Immutable X or OpenSea, which collectibles will go first? A lot of the artists will go first. Frank Kozik's really pumped about getting the 3D collectible Labbits on there. He's pumped about them breeding. He wants to work with the extra larges, the large apes that are in Veve, which those have shot up like a mother flapper recently. Those have been insane. Ultra Dragon Girl at 48 got picked up by some dude. Now I saw, there was a couple of people messaging me about that, and one actually asked on a stream the other day. I was like, yeah, it's probably pretty undervalued. And again, what did I say before on my video? Do not be afraid to be the person to pay the top. I've done it many times. Luckily, I've never gotten burned. Obviously, don't do it on something that is, nobody's going to care about. But sometimes that has to happen. Paying for the top will allow other people to be like, okay, one person's willing to do it. That means I'm going to do it. Like, you're not alone. There are over 1 million people on this app, monthly active users. There's a very good chance that you are not one in a million and you want this certain thing and you're willing to pay a certain amount for this certain thing. A lot of people call me a whale. I do not have 1/100th. I do not have 1% of the money that Lewis Morgan has. I imagine I have maybe a fraction of what like Dr. Profit or Mr. Pags have. I'm sure those guys are decamillionaires. There's the person that just bought 100 common Steamboat Willies. He spent $40,000 on that one collectible. I'm sure that dude has hundreds of thousands of dollars just lying there, ready to go in. I'm sure he's worth a lot more than that. 43 is at 8.5. Then if you're gonna then he's just flexing. Then he doesn't really mean to sell number 48 at 50K. The most small brand collectibles will be transferable earlier. Yeah, artists will want that on there first. Prediction of the NFT that won't be up in a year. Oh, I think Donnie might be. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense for him to keep going, but for Donnie to keep going and his Infernal Majesty, him staying where he is, I just don't see that. I think that it'll raise a little bit, but I really think his Infernal Majesty has a lot of room to grow. And everyone, we're getting another low mint comic on Thursday. Oh, get the fudge out of here. Feels like the real thing. Lori Brenner, thank you so much and thank you everyone so far for the super chats. Thank you, Lori Brenner. Thank you everyone. Those mean the world. Those help feed me. Thank y'all. Stamps are going up. I was wondering when they would do when people would get. I think those first appearance stamps are really something that I don't want to say that was being slept on. But let's take a look at the brands and let's go. It's going to be the last ones. USPS. Let's see where we got here. United States Postal Service. The Day of the Dead ones, that has a couple of layers on it too, because not only is it the first stamp, the first government entity doing NFTs, at least in the US, but it's got, the Mexican heritage also, the Dios de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. Let's see what the ultra rare is going at. And that's 440. So that's been about the same. The commons, I feel like these are about the same. At least I haven't been checking these a lot. It's more been the rare's up. The rare's up a good amount. The last time I had checked this was really when I sold them a few weeks ago. Nintendo might be the announcement. Yeah, dude, same. I mean, look at my arm. Look at all of the Nintendo characters I have, and that's including Star Fox, including Donkey Kong and the Pokeball up here. However, mine set up his virtual desk for work on his Oculus. That's so cool. Star Trek is heavily slept on. So I think that most Star Trek fans are not in Veve because I was fully expecting that first set to sell out immediately, and it didn't. And I was also expecting, like, hey, Star Wars fans, come in here and troll the Star Trek fans and buy up all of the NFTs so that when Star Trek fans come in, they can't get any. But it didn't happen. It did not happen. which is bananas. So yeah. Laura Bear says, because of Randy, my husband and I buy a pack of Pokemon cards every time we go to GameStop. Plan to leave them unopened for years and recommendations on what to get. Modern is very, very hard to do that with, just because they can continuously reprint and reprint and reprint. As long as demand is there. I'm only really familiar with Pokemon cards that are Wizards of the Coast that came in through like 99 through like 03, and then some gold stars. But modern cards, I really don't have any experience with. VMAX cards are nice. The Jolteon, the celebrations, those are very, very good. That is a very good set. Pokemon celebrations, that is a very good set. So yeah, I think those are great. Recur TMNT. Yep. I think Wax has some TMNT as well. Wendy, what's going on? How's it going? Who's next is Cody. How many sets? He's gone. I'm sorry. I think he doesn't have any sets. He only has Spider-Man and a couple of, I think he said Mickey's, I think. Nice talk, guys. Why, thank you. Or specifically, thanks, guys. Great video. Yeah, Open said he spent thousands on Star Wars NFTs. Okay. Maybe he did. Maybe he's got some C3POs and some R2D2s then. Great tune, by the way. I know, right? Love it. She said Disney is like 4x more popular than Marvel. Also, Disney 4x market cap compared to Marvel. That means, I believe, partners 4,000 mints should become same price as Spidey, 1,000 mints. I don't think so, because Spider-Man is you are talking about the parent companies, which, although that might be correct, the characters within those can have wildly different. Like Mickey is probably globally might be as well known, if not more than well known, as Spider-Man. Been around for 100 years. Spider-Man has not, but I mean, are you nostalgic for Mickey Mouse? I don't really, and not that I watched Disney Channel a ton, or really, I didn't watch it none. I watched it a little bit when I was a kid, but I'm not nostalgic for Mickey Mouse. The only two things I really know him from is from The Outsiders, when Emilio Estevez has Mickey on a shirt. He's eating a cake and he's eating a beer. Like, hey, look, Mickey's on TV. And then like Disney Arena, where I use Mickey on my team. Maybe Fantasia. Some people watch that when they were younger. But I really don't. I've never really watched anything that has Mickey Mouse in it. And I get it. It's maybe that's just me, but I feel like a lot of people are a lot more nostalgic for Spider-Man, especially my age, late 20s, early 30s. You're going to see people that grew up in the 90s Spider-Man, that had Kingpin, that had Daredevil, that had Doctor Strange, it had Madam Web, it had the Fantastic Four, it had amazing things on it. And there's been TV shows through now on Disney Channel, Disney DX. There's been movies. Those are some of the highest grossing movies ever. What movie with Mickey Mouse grossed $1 billion? Or 100 million? I don't think any of them. And again, I could be wrong. Maybe Fantasia back in the day, adjusted for inflation, whatever. But Spider-Man was made like a $250 million in one weekend. Spider-Man, that's movies made over $1 billion already. That's insane. So, and that's during a pandemic. So I do not believe that. Yes, I agree that maybe Disney is more popular than Marvel, 4x, and the market cap might be 4x, but that does not mean that Mickey, the Walt statue, is better than the first appearance Spider-Man. Spider-Man should probably stay above the wall statues, just because there's so many. And Edgardo Albert says, what about Ink Stories? So I forget, I think it was Biscuits that shared it, saying that the people that have the inked story, that Eve, like the collectible, are going to be able to get a physical copy. And those are the only people that are going to be able to get one, which I thought was really interesting. It was really cool. Abel Anderson to Skodnik wants to earn money on new and naive investors and with price predictions. Sells China. I know that Cavell got Reese's permission to go and put Veve on his stuff. I can't speak for the quality of it. I know that Mr. Pags, he orders, and his brother or his brother-in-law orders from Cavell a lot. I don't know what goes on in Cavell's private chat, so I can't speak for that. But you know, if people go in there and they don't like it, they can get out. I mean, I'm not in it because I don't need to be, but maybe he helps. I don't know. Andre Jick wearing the OMI Rocket shirt from W Champ in his new post. Yo, nice. Oh yeah, Slipknot. We gotta love it. Good analysis. Uncle Drew says, "Never mind. Might not be the shirt. Looks like it. It's okay." Thoughts on DC Death. I like her. I had that set when it first came out, and I got it the day it came out, and I got it I've had it literally up until like last week. I sold that with a bunch of other things so I can get a second reso, and that worked because I got my second reso at 7,200 and got like 13,000 now. So I'm pretty happy. Just my opinion. I mean, if you take a look at it, the Eddie Russo, yeah, it's 13.6 right now as the lowest. So I'm happy. Todd McFarlane reached 5K before. It is still currently at $5,000, which is bananas. It's 3,400 the other, which is so. I think Superman will probably reach 3K. Not like today or tomorrow, but I think by February, yeah, it could probably grow another 50%. Cody collects with 2 million users. I bet at least 1 million Disney fans. How many of the current fan base are co-collectors or Disney collectors? I don't know. I have some of the Disney golden moments. I have Elsa, I have Homer and Bart, I have Iron Man, and I have the Avengers logo. But I do not. I mean, most people are probably Disney fans. Like most people probably enjoy or have enjoyed in the past Disney movies. And you know they own Marvel, so technically, if they like superhero movies, you're gonna like Disney products. Coquelec says, "I know. If anything, it's modern. Go ahead and grab Evolving Skies when you see it. Celebration, yes, celebrations are great." Anybody says, "Shannon Marvel is owned by Disney, so Marvel is Disney." It's true. All right, where do you see the Steamboat Willies going? So here's the thing, like. It's probably going to go up, and not like a insignificant amount. It'll probably go up a decent amount. But what I do fear for some people is that maybe it doesn't moon as hard as others because the Steamboat Willie is great, but how many people actually knew Steamboat Willie, like, and have watched it or nostalgic for it, versus how many people would love like the red, black, and white Mickey, like the white gloves and the red shorts and the yellow buttons and the ears. Like I think that is probably like that type of thing is probably a little bit more nostalgic for some people. The current modern day Mickey, the last 40, 50 years versus Steamboat. But again, this just my opinion. I think that the set, all of them will probably go up. I mean, when somebody spends $40,000 to get 100 common Steamboat Willies, that is a big bet. That is a bigger bet than I've ever taken on any one thing in the app. Even my alligator Lokis, yeah, I spent 5 figures on it, but it's about 20 to 25% of what that person did on the commons. So, yeah, I think a person that has $40,000 to spend like that all willy nilly is probably relatively intelligent, and he probably thought about spending it beforehand. So I think they have some room to grow, definitely. Beer money only. Okay, Maxwell. All right. I see you. Wexy says, if you were given 30,000 and had 1 week to turn a $50,000 profit, how would you do it? Honestly, the first thing that came to mind was card counting. So crypto would be easy answer for 1 year, but for 1 week to turn a 50, so I would have to essentially triple that. I would have to get 90,000, or add another 50,000, which is almost double. I would have to take. And card counting for me is probably the most surefire way because I know that I could put that 30K, and honestly, 30K doesn't even buy you a secret rare Spider-Man anymore. That 30K goes and gets you most of a secret rare Spider-Man, but the secret rare Spider-Man was up to like 30. It was 31 before, but I think it might be even higher now. Oh yeah, so 33,000. So I would have to add 10% of my own money, or 10% of that from my own money. Jeez, this just keeps climbing. This is insane. This just keeps going bananas. So I don't know. Honestly, it probably would be counting cards. That would be, for me, the most surefire way to be able to do that. Because, let's say I do put, take 10% of that out of my own money and get the Spider-Man for 33,000. I don't think that I would maybe flip that to get. I'd maybe flip that to get, if it goes to, even if it goes to 40,000 in a couple days, that's still not a week. So that's very hard to do. That's on the app. It would have to be, it'd probably have to be counting. Again, I could do it with OMI, but in a week, that'll certainly double, next month in February, if not triple. But yeah, that would not do that in a week. But that was a good question. Thank you. Now where was I? All right, you see this? Oh, I just answered that. ESPN, definitely different brands. That's a good point. 2-hour stream has been a blessing while working. Thanks again, Roland Chavez and chat for keeping up the entertainment. No problem. No problem. Thank you, Maxwell, for the beer money. You are the realist. Gooseneck says, Cody, are you interested in the mass collector program? Cody, be gone. Sorry. Good point. Top 10 movies of all time in terms of grossing, 6 or 7 are Marvel movies, but they also spent the most on them. Yeah, they definitely spent a lot. But, let's say it costs $150 million to make that movie. A good 20% of that is paid for by people that want, or companies that want to advertise in that movie. So a lot of that is made up very, very quickly. Yeah. Well, my first batch of OMI today, 150,000 OMI, but going to keep adding. Congrats. 150. Yeah. That'll be worth a lot in the future. So see more Adventure Time. I want to see Adventure Time as well. I want to see. If we're going to Cartoon Network, I want to see Regular Show. Regular Show would be great. If we have Disney, I want to see Gravity Falls. I don't know who Peppermint Butler is. Tree Trunks, I don't know who the rest of those are. But yeah, I definitely want to see a lot of other cartoons from there. That'd be great. Oh, congrats, Corey. Get it as often as you can. Not financial advice. Also, Superman, which one did you choose? Oh, that is so hard. I think short to medium term, probably Superman. But if we're going like 20 years, I would say Elsa. But short term or to mid term, I would say Superman. I only have one Superman. I only have one Elsa. Superman, most everybody knows. Elsa is very, very popular with younger people, but anyone that doesn't have kids, like, what's an Elsa? Encourage. Oh, dude, that'd be great. Courage the Cowardly Dog would be amazing. I'd love that. Again, 30K. I don't. Again, for me personally, not including the app, not including stocks, I would go to counting cards. Annalise videos say about OMI staking was interesting. Yeah, I think that if we had more tiers, more levels, that could be absolutely correct. I think that we go and we definitely get to $1 at some point, but I don't think it's because of staking. I think it's because of utility. I think it's because of mass adoption. OMI to NFT, buying land in the Veveverse, that type of deal. That's what I think. I need to be nostalgic on collectibles to invest in it. Just need to understand the value and what it will hold for those that are nostalgic. Well, that, part of your reasoning, what it will hold for those that are nostalgic. I don't think that many people are nostalgic for Steamboat Willie. But that many people are nostalgic for Spider-Man. Whether you, like my Uncle Mario's 50, loves Spider-Man. His kids are, like 18 and like 21 or 22, and they're nostalgic because they love the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield movies. And I love Spider-Man because, I love those movies too, but I grew up in the 90s with the animated series. And yeah, it reaches all ages, and even now, like there's Spider-Man of Kids DX, or Disney DX or XD, whatever, that has new Spider-Man shows. They're always making new content. There always are. Disney's always made new content, but Mickey Mouse hasn't always been in it. But that being said, yeah, I do believe the Steamboat Willies and the Waltz are very good long term. And it says 30K on floor and 30K would have 30 items. Maybe 3K buy a bunch of Android phones and Veve bot. Oh hell no! Think about buying a ton of Wonder Woman. Not a bad idea. Do it to ultra rare. Everyone is busy buying NFTs today. I'm buying 25 million OMI. Did you really? That's a lot of OMI. Good for you. And so I was laughing. Matt Hans says, hey, Randy, back to the question I asked yesterday. You think the bond posters have a case to be changed to first edition? Is there any reason why the first ones are not already? What's your thoughts? I don't know if they're able to change that. I mean, they might be able to, and there might be a case for that, but I don't. Nah. My thoughts would be like the Bond. They really don't see. Again, Bond is one of the most iconic characters I think ever, but because a lot of the fans are older, and some of the newer fans, they would rather get other stuff. Other stuff is just more popular than Bond. So even if they do get that first edition, I don't think it would really matter too much. I think maybe in the future, if they say, hey, you're only allowed to try to buy this golden gun if you have every set, maybe that's something. Maybe. Well, because you think Veve would ever airdrop the first 100 to 250,000 created accounts special OG NFT? That's too much. It says Rick and Morty, please. Oh God, Rick and Morty would be great. The ray gun. Oh God, Rick. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, Todd was at Todd do be at 5K though. Let's see what we got here. I just saw somebody have a secret rare Spider-Man called Jazzy J. Is he still there? Yep, he's still there. Still there at 5K. Eddie Rizzo has calmed down a little bit, which is good. That again, you want things to have a little bit of a breather. Going to 14.6 is all well and good, but if it goes there straight from 7.2, you want a little bit of a breather before it goes back up. So to have, like 5 listings and have it drop $1,000, I think is good. I think that is healthy for the market. Any chance of getting how-to vid for conversion on buying OMI? I can't even buy it. I have to send Bitcoin to a buddy of mine, and he buys it for me. Into crypto and stocks, but I've only dabbled in Stash. That's Coinbase and other large trade apps. It's not even on Coinbase. It takes such a crazy hard time to buy it. It's ridiculous. Dylan says 25 million OMI at this price. Too much money. You crazy? He is very smart. That dude will be a deck millionaire this decade. It is, yeah. I think if we reach if he hodls, if we reach $4 by 2030, which I think is possible. It's got 100 million, worth 9 figures. It's insane. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I've been talking for a little over 2 hours. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye to Dashi. And everyone, before we go, should check out Star Helix, Wendy Stibalis, Kyle Willson, and Golden Assets on YouTube, and at Not Star Helix, at Hey David Don, and at EQ_crypto on the Twitter. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for super chats. I love you all. I might do a video later. I might not. I'm very, very tired. I've done 2 today, plus a live stream. I'll keep you all posted. All right. Goodbye, guys. Meow, meow, meow. All right. Meow. Okay. Where am I going? Oh, end broadcast. Okay.